Hi, you're listening to the My Body, My Story podcast.
You know, it's your choice. You wake up every morning and you can decide if this is going to be a good day or if it's going to be a bad day.
This is the 45 over 45 chapter, where we celebrate rule breakers and role models, the women who inspire us to live life our way and to show their sensuality, beauty, soul, and true essence. I'm your host, Alina, and I'm interviewing 45 women over the age of 45 while they're sitting in my makeup chair and getting their makeover for the project's photo shoot. Here we talk about what it's like to be 45 plus, adjusting to the changes that come with time, and we'll listen to the stories of our participants. If you have an interesting story to share, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us on info@alexandrawalker.com, and that's Alexandra spelled with a KS, or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com. Okay, Michelle, so tell us about yourself.
Okay, I am an identical twin.
Wow.
So I've grown up never feeling lonely my whole life. And I come from a gorgeous family. And I have two children, young adult children. And when I got married, I never ever thought that I'd be signing up to get divorced. So about almost 9 years ago, my husband unfortunately had an affair and left. And literally just walked out of the door. And so the kids saw him from time to time, like the first 12 months, but then he basically got a little bit too busy and then he's moved overseas to Amman in the last, say, 3 years.
Right.
So I've been a full-time mother looking after the kids and raising them to be gorgeous young adults. And I had to go back into the workforce full-time, which I'm so grateful I got a job at had a job that I was able to keep it and sustain, affording to live in Sydney.
That's right, and be a single mum.
And be a single mum, yeah. So it was a challenge.
Wow.
And, so the kids are great and they've adjusted and they really actually appreciate everything we do, what we have, and they've grown up with great morals and great values, and I've had to be strict with them and give them boundaries. But my son especially said to me, about a year ago, "Mum, I'm so glad that you gave me boundaries because it made me feel loved and I know that you cared about me."
Yeah.
And my daughter was really fine. She was just a normal, natural, easygoing kid.
Yeah.
And never did anything that was outside the norm.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky with her. Yeah. So I work in the city and I love it. I love the atmosphere of the city.
What are you most passionate about?
Okay, well, I am very passionate about the environment and the world and what's happening with regards to the planet heating up. So I do like to take note of what we can do in our own small little ways to help our environment. And being in the industry that I'm in, I understand there's a lot of renewable energy and there's ways to help the planet, and that is, by putting solar panels on our houses and having Tesla batteries in our garages so that we can be self-sustainable when it comes to using electricity. But also just small things like plastic. I was having a chat to my book club girlfriends and we've discovered that there's these silicone bags you can buy from a shop, basically, and you can put all your fruit and vegetables in them and they Ziploc, but you can keep them washed and they keep everything fresh. So you don't have to use Glad wrap or plastic bags or anything like that. As well as, just be mindful of what we use and what we do. So, definitely the environment's one of my passions.
Yeah.
My other passion is my keeping fit. Keeping fit is really important to me in my life. Yeah. So I want to live a long, healthy life.
That's right.
And be here to, see my grandchildren be born one day. And other things that I'm passionate about are charities. Where I work, we're very involved with children's charities, and we have been sponsoring Ronald McDonald House. And Ronald McDonald House come along, and before pre-COVID, we met families, and we do a lot of fundraising, things for the charity, and we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars through work. And we go in and we cook for the families, and it's a kind of like a team effort from work, and it's great. And so just doing something like that, and you see how much it helps these families that live hundreds of miles away and they have to come to Sydney with a sick child. And the fact that there's this Ronald McDonald House at Randwick and it supports the families is invaluable. And I think with our busy lives and everyone's so consumed about, me and what I have, but there's, helping others is very important in life as well.
You need a medal, I think.
Well, I did win the Global Citizens Award at work.
You did?
For my charity work, yeah.
Oh, you're a true angel.
I was meant to go to Kenya last year and live with the Maasai people.
Yeah.
Is it because of COVID, it had to all be cancelled. So I was so sad about that.
Will they sort of reinstate that eventually?
No, they can't. It's because I think Africa's got a real problem with COVID, and it's just probably too dangerous. Right. So unfortunately, that won't happen.
Everyone knows with age, we change. But what positive changes have you experienced with age?
I suppose it's just the maturity of growing older and understanding human relationships with each other as we grow older. Because when you're younger, you're quite green and naive, and just the psychology behind how you behave and react with each other. I think as you grow older, you kind of understand a bit more, and just accepting people how they are, and also accepting change in your life, and not dwelling on it too much, and trying to move forward and think positive. But I think the biggest adjustment for me might be my body that's changed shape as I've grown older, having children. But you look at your kids and you realise, well, it's worth it. But as much as there's all this, body image, beautiful body, looking gorgeous, all of the, things you can put into your face to get rid of wrinkles, I think just trying to be happy in your own skin and just feel natural and appreciate what you've got, because, you could be gone.
That's right.
And
here you are worrying about a wrinkle. Yes,
exactly. So I think just as you develop and you grow older, I think you're just understanding how we all operate and trying to make every day important and count, and just coping with how people are in life, whether it's with work or relationships, friends. I suppose that just boils back down to maturity.
Yeah.
Understanding people.
That comes with experience and age. And why can't we be this clever at 20?
Yeah, I know. And the things that are important to you when you're 20, just, it's like small fry. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff. And it's not until you grow up and understand that, well, actually it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And I think having children as well, it changes your whole outlook on life.
Yeah, your priorities.
Your priorities, right? Absolutely. Like small things would upset me when I was in my early 20s, but then once I had the kids in my 30s, stuff just didn't worry me.
Doesn't matter anymore.
And, so I think it's, you just tend to grow up.
What is the biggest challenge you are experiencing at this age now?
Okay, the biggest challenge. I suppose the biggest challenge to me at my age right now, having been divorced, is where to now for the rest of my life. And who do I want to share it with? And I think finding the right person that trusts you, and that you're on the same path together, perhaps have the same values. And
sorry, I'm doing your
that's
mouth.
All right.
You keep talking. You're doing very well. In between my brush strokes.
Yeah. So I think it's the whole single scene. Yeah. I've got friends that are at my age as well, and they're actually, some of them have just recently left their husbands. Some of them are very unhappily married, and I just wonder, when you sign up for marriage, how it's a difficult thing to keep the spark in the marriage.
That's right.
And to just try and enjoy each other's company and respect each other until you're older. So I think if that dies or if something happens to change those circumstances, and then meeting somebody again is like, how are you going to get through it? Because most of the people that are out there now have been through exactly what I've been through.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think perhaps it goes back to the maturity thing, and you kind of learn how to respect each other more and how to behave better second time round. So, yeah, I think the challenge is meeting a nice, suitable person at my age, because there's so many different platforms that you can meet people, but they're all circulating on all of them, basically.
Describe your biggest accomplishment.
I think my biggest accomplishment is getting my children to this level that they are now, grown up, and them understanding how important it is to appreciate their lives and be respectful to other people, and basically, just have good morals and good values. And I'm really proud of them. And I think that's probably my biggest achievement, my biggest accomplishment, other than getting through my kidney cancer 5 years ago, which was just a miracle that I discovered it by doing a leapfrog through the park with a bunch of people from work. And I had this slight pain in my left side, and I thought, oh, that really hurts. And I actually thought, I wasn't working on Fridays at this stage, and I thought, I'm going to go to the doctors and just get this checked out, because it just didn't feel right. It was a really sharp pain, and I went and saw her and said, look, I've got this sharp pain and I just doesn't feel right. And so she actually sent me for a CT scan on the Friday, and then Saturday morning I was at boxing classes, going to go and get a blood test. And then she rings me and she said, oh, you need to come in and see me this morning, Michelle. She goes, I believe there's a very big tumour on your left side in your kidney.
Wow.
And I nearly died of shock. And I thought, oh, God. And so I went and saw her, and then she sorted out. She said, I'm going to need a couple of days to get the right surgeon for this, because it was quite large. And so on the Monday, she phoned me and she said, there's Professor Howard Lau. He does robotic surgery, keyhole robotic surgery. You go and see him. And I think he's the right person for you. So, so I went and saw him, and, it was stage 3. Wow. And so I dodged a bullet. And if I hadn't have done that leapfrog in the park that day, I would have been a sitting duck, absolutely no symptoms, nothing.
Did you have to do chemotherapy?
I didn't have to do chemo, because your kidney's actually encased in they said to me, like, with all the cancers, kidney cancer's a good one to probably get, because it is encased in like a satchel or a bag, and they literally put another bag around it, and they encapsulate it, and then they bring it out through the cut in your stomach.
Right.
So I just missed out on having to have chemotherapy, and had to do a lot of follow-ups thereafter, and just make sure that it hadn't progressed to my lungs,
of course,
or my other kidney. So I've just recently gone past the 5-year stage of that, which is great, and hence why it's so important to me to be fit and healthy and live my life to the absolute fullest and max every single day, and appreciate every day when I wake up.
That's right.
It's your choice. Wow. You wake up every morning and you can decide if this is going to be a good day or if it's going to be a bad day. Yeah. And I make the most of every day when I walk out that door.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah. So I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. And my twin sister had a dream 3 weeks prior to me having my kidney discovered, my kidney issue. Yeah. And she rang me up crying she was living in Perth at the time, and she said, Michelle, I had this terrible dream. And she said, I woke up crying, that's how I remember. She said, you donated a kidney to me to save my life. And I'm thinking not much about it. Next thing I know, I'm having my kidney out. So whether that was the twinny thing, I don't know.
That must have been.
Yeah, so she flew over from Perth to take me to hospital, and I just said, let's pretend we're on home and away and, feel okay about this little operation. And then I had this major surgery, and then, that was it. And then she had to fly back home to Perth. So she just came over just in case. So it all went very well, thanks to Dr. Howard, Professor Lau. Yeah. Wow. So that's probably, one of the biggest things I got through.
Yeah.
And just raising my kids in to be good human beings.
That's right.
Which is great. Yeah.
What a story. What a story. How was it growing up being an identical twin? Was there lots of confusion? Were you tricking your parents? How was it as a child?
Yeah, it was actually it was a lot of fun. And as I said initially, I've never felt lonely because I've always had my twin sister. And I also have an older brother. And everyone goes to me, oh, you've got an older brother? Because everyone knows you as the twins. And you get a lot of attention growing up as a twin because you look identical. And our mother used to dress us the same, which, you know, it was a bit embarrassing at times because, you know, we were quite skinny. And a lot of people go, oh, my God, you're so skinny. And there was two of us, so it kind of like it really was noticeable. But we had a lot of fun. We mucked up in school a little bit in the sense that we decided Karen had a dot. She had like a mole on top of her eyebrow and I didn't. So we blotted hers out and put it on me. And then we swapped classes and then I forgot to take the dot off. And that's how the teachers could tell us apart. And the teacher didn't believe me that I was who I was. So it kind of like backfired a little bit. But growing up, Karen always got the boys liked her more than me, which I found really strange.
Why? How?
Because she's just probably a more softer person than me, and I'm more black and white. And so they'd always ask her out first, and if she said no, then they'd turn to me and ask me out. And I'd go, no, I'm not going to be second best.
That's right.
So we always liked different boys, thank goodness. So we didn't have a challenge there. But it was fantastic when we were teenagers because our wardrobes were extensive.
Yeah.
And when we both worked in the city together in here, you know, I worked for one company, she worked for the other company, and the executives would come down to my company from her company, and I'd walk in and serve them tea or coffee, and they'd just look at me as though to say, what are you doing here? Because I didn't know we were twins. So it was quite funny actually because I had like one day in the city, I was walking to lunch and I had this woman come up and whack me on the bottom. And I turned around and looked at her and I thought, why are you whacking me on the bottom? And she knew Karen, but she didn't know me. But anyway, we had a lot of fun growing up and then, had our babies together. We were 10 weeks and 8 weeks apart. We were both pregnant together. And that was strangely enough, we had miscarriages and you can't predict any of that. Like that's just Mother Nature. So our kids are extremely close. So she went to my birth and she cried when I went into labour. And I said, it's me that's having the baby, not you. And so she came to the birth and the doctor that, obstetrician, he was actually married to a twin and he was trying to convince Karen to actually go natural birth instead of caesarean because she had a husband that was 6'5" and was a very big baby. And so she was very nervous about giving birth to her baby naturally. Mm. Anyway, so our babies came out and like our kids, it's funny, my niece, she said to me, technically you're my mother as well because genetically you're the same. She said, you're half my mother.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So the kids, like Karen's kids will come over to our place and stay and my kids will go up to her place and stay and they're extremely close. And she felt when my marriage fell apart, she actually got extremely upset about that and she felt it. Yeah. Like she lost sleep as well. She was living in Perth at the time and she lost a lot of sleep about it.
Yeah, because you're connected.
Yeah, that's the marching band. They went down the street on Friday.
Have you seen them?
Yeah. Yeah, they are down there. Oh, so is that them?
No.
Just here? Yeah, they're actually really good. No, they went, when I was out having lunch during the week, they came past and they were singing they were playing the YMCA and I wanted to dance in the middle of the street.
What stopped you? Should have done it.
I should have, because it would have been quite funny actually. Yeah, but no, being a twin has been a lot of fun. And I think I've, been very blessed.
It sounds like so much fun. I'm the only child, so I always wished for, for a sibling, or if it was a twin, it would have been dreams come true.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen if one of us dies before the other. I have a broken heart.
Yeah. You're together since the very...
in the womb. In actual fact, we were a triplet when we were born.
Oh, really?
There was a little boy baby as well, but he didn't survive because we were so premature. Oh. He was the biggest baby. He was 5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't make it. 24 hours later, he passed away. So we were identical twins. He was the fraternal part, like the separate baby.
Yeah.
And so we're both lucky to still be here because, 57 years ago, when you're born premature, they didn't have the technology back then. So I'm really glad I can see, that I can hear, because they didn't realise that oxygen was. If you have too much oxygen as a baby, it can affect your sight and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Michelle, what advice would you give your 30-year-old self?
Yeah, the 30-year-old self, the advice I would have done, like what I should have done, was to invest in a property back in those days, because they seemed expensive, but they weren't when you were a 57-year-old self. I think the advice I would give would be to just say that, women are so resilient and strong. Like, you can throw anything at a woman, mostly. She'll recover. She'll get better. Become stronger.
Yeah, I agree. We're survivors. Yeah.
We are survivors. And times have changed as well since then, because it's more equal now. There's more opportunity.
Yeah.
And with diversity, everything like that. It's just, it's amazing how all of that has changed, because we're more accepting of, whether you're gay or transgender or whatever. And when I was younger, I remember working with a man who'd become a woman. I was 18, and it was a total shock to me to see a man that was actually wearing women's clothes and try and be feminine. And I found that difficult to understand, whereas now, growing up or older, I realised that it's just a natural process for some people, and that you just accept more. So, I think, that advice would be invest in a property and realise that you will be strong and you'll get through everything that's being thrown at you.
What advice would you give younger women who will eventually undergo these changes?
Like with the younger women, I've got a daughter that's 21. Just to have some goals. Have your goals and work out where you want to go and how you're going to get there, because life goes by so fast. And I think you need to have some sort of goals so that you can have something to work for. And also, not to be too scared about the future, because it is scary now, because they talk about the environment and what's going to happen if we don't slow the warming of the earth down.
That's right.
That there is a future, because Mother Nature is amazing at turning things around.
Yeah.
So to feel confident and stand up for yourself. Just don't take any shit from blokes or other people.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. Don't let people bring you down, and don't let them hurt you. So just be strong, be passionate, have your goals, and, just love yourself the way you are. You don't have to go and get all this Botox and plumbing and plumping up or whatever it is that you can get done.
What is your favourite quote about being a woman?
There's lots of quotes, but this is the one that stood out to me. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. And that's exactly what I've done with my daughter, is to be strong.
Yeah.
So that resonates with me, that quote.
It's nice. I think we should then have all those quotes on the website. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
If you have an interesting story to share, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us on info@alexandrawalker.com, and that's Alexandra spelled with a KS, or visit our website alexandrawalker.com.